Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dave Snyder. I work here at Aladtec as a system specialist and one of the tech support and trainers here at the software. And I'm here today to give you an overview of our example of fire management through our employee scheduling software in workforce management. Today's overview will take about 30-40 minutes. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the system for Aladtec, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you might have. If you like, you can certainly post a question in the questions panel, and I'll just try to review those as we go along. And of course, we'll have a Q&A at the end for any questions that we can share with everybody, and we hope we can do that for you. Part of the system here will allow us to basically, show you the different aspects of the system that you'll be able to see. And just to give you a brief background on who we are, we're just a simple family-owned private company here in the Midwest, and we have 40 some employees that work, and we manage up to 2,500 different organizations across the country. And we tout ourselves on big on tech support and answering your questions and building out custom free demos for you with your own information. So if this is something that piques your interest and you want to continue down the path, you can do so completely free, and you'll be able to give us the we'll have somebody hand in hand with you, talk through your different details of your service, maybe get some of your information and set you up with a free custom demo that you'll be able to trial on your own time and make sure that it all works for you. So again, if you have any questions, let us know. We're just going to give you through some of the main features of the system here. We won't get into too much detail, but I just want to give you the highlight of all the different aspects of the system and what it's capable of doing. A big aspect of our program is customization, as you'll see. We do cover all different public safety sectors to accommodate for those different areas, as you'll see as we go through the system. So let's go ahead and switch over to our sample system here. We have a demo system set up here. We're looking at the home page of our sample system here. Now, this is a cloud-based online software that your members and admins can access from anywhere as long as they have an internet connection. You will have a dedicated website with a keyword associated with your service, and that's how all your participants and members will be able to access the system. Everything from a PC or a Mac or desktop of any kind to an iPad or a tablet, all the way down to your phone on our mobile site. There's a mobile version of our website. There is not a mobile app in the traditional sense that you might be used to, but what the benefit of that is on our mobile site is you would just access it the same way you do it on a desktop and go to your specific website, and you can save that as a bookmark, as a shortcut. It works just like any other app, but the benefit is you don't have to do anything in terms of downloading, install, update, or whatever. You're always looking at the live current version of the software just in its mobile capacity. As you're looking at a smaller screen, it'll be conformed and fitted to see that information that way. And I'll show you the examples of that as we go along here. Also part of the system as you're accessing the information here, if you set up with a free custom demo, we have here indicated, everything that basically comes with it. It's basically all inclusive. There are some modules that are over and above that might cost an extra fee that we can talk about, but for the most part, all the benefits of the scheduling and forms and reporting and otherwise, and your members will be as part of the system. You get, as you can see here, completely free training, like I said, hand in hand with you, all the way through the implementation process and your demo process. And what's great about that is that if you decide to come on board and you think it'll work, the work is already done. It's just going to translate over and be your live system, and a lot of that setup and everything will already be there, and you'll just continue on with that and can share it with the rest of your membership. The system comes along with free implementation and training always. You'll be able to your admins will be able to be trained and be able to pass that along to your membership as well. As our engineers work toiling on the system, of course, all upgrades are free and they get pushed out to the system and they'll be live, and you'll be able to see what those upgrades and changes are as they get implemented in there. And then, as I mentioned, as for our tech support team, this is what we really tout for the most part, is that you get free, unlimited tech support and training forever, no questions asked. All you got to do is call and pick it, and we pick up the phone and talk to you. There's no call tree, there's no phone bank. There's just a few of us sitting here, and we're all very we're all experts in the system, and we're happy to just talk with you. If we're not available, you just leave a voicemail and we call you back. It's really as simple as that. You can do that as much as you like. So as part of the system here, like I said, when you get logged into the system using your keyword and your website here, everybody's going to be issued their own credentials. Members will be able to set up their own password. They'll be the only ones that see their own password and set their own. You'll be able to generate those at any time, and then you'll be able to set a bookmark as to the website itself and a shortcut if need be. And it's going to bring you to a login page. You'll log in with your primary email or username and a password, and it gets you into the system. The system is completely customizable in terms of the settings in the back. There is a setup area here that you'll be able to go to as an admin and set up all the different access levels and who can see and do what the rules are for your members, and we'll be able to walk you through all those different settings and options of what's available in the system, and you'll be able to set who exactly has the authority to do what throughout the system. You'll notice here on the home page, there's kind of an area here that we've kind of set up to put some general information. This is your world to set up as you wish. Under the home tab, you can kind of see the menu bar here across the way here, navigating you through the different areas of the system. So the system is set up this way on purpose as a very user intuitive, so you can navigate through the system and get to where you need. There is a home page editor, and you can make this world whatever you want here, and you'll be able to post pictures or notices or alerts or different instructions and so forth, as you can see here. And then on the home page too is a nice little dashboard, so you as an admin or your members will be able to see quickly at the first glance of exactly what's going on in the system. If there's anything that needs to be taken care of from an admin side in terms of something that needs to be approved or denied, things such as trades and signups and time off, and you'd be able to click on any of these, and this is just a quick shortcut basically on how to get to that information, and you can simply click on those requests and process them as needed. You'll also be able to see exactly any upcoming shifts for yourself would be listed here, and then you'll see these view all links here are all along here too if you need to get deep down into a little more detail or go directly to the screen that has more of that information. You can go to the detailed page and click on that. We'll see here in our member database different ways to track information, including dates, things such as certifications or driver's license or training or whatever it happens to be. The system will track those expiring dates and tell you when they're about to be expired, and maybe ping out a notification and a warning letting you know that, hey, you're going to be expiring in 30 days, and then of course another one when it actually does expire. Any events, you can quickly look to see if anything coming up on the calendar, any trades being offered your way, and discussion posts as well if there's some chat going on in the system. We're going to focus on kind of the first couple of tabs here. This is what most people use, the members and the schedules. So we always start with the people, right, and who they are and what they're about, and where they belong, and what kind of notifications they want to get, and things like that. You'll be able to customize your membership here and store any amount and detail of information. So you can kind of think of it as your human resources database, if you will, and it also drives everything else schedule-wise in the system of who they are, what their authority is, where they're allowed to work, what their time off accrual balances are, their notification options, and things like that. That's you'll be able to configure and make it whatever you wish. But let's go look at an example of that here in the member database. So here in the member database, we're looking at your basically your active roster, if you will, of how many people that you have, and you can certainly add new people as necessary. And you can see here just alphabetically, they're just listed by name, and then all their associated information is listed over here towards the right in a table format. And this is basically your member report. So this is really handy in terms of organizing the information, making simple changes, and seeing that sort of information here, and we'll see how that works. As part of the custom demo, if we set that up for you, if you want, you can send us a roster with all this data, and we can simply import it into the system and save you all that data entry and just have it all available in there all at once. So we make that a nice little shortcut for you. Let's go take a look at a member in specifics and look at the details. We'll just focus here on, say, Seth. So we're going to hover over Seth's name, and we're going to edit Seth, and we're going to see his profile as a whole here. So you can see the different information of what can be stored. There's some high-level information, of course, who they are and what their username to log in might be. If you needed to reset their password, there would be a link there for you to do that, and it would send it right to their email that's listed here, as long as it's their primary email. Things such as their date of hire, what their active status is. And then, as I mentioned here, we're deciding, what kind of access level they have in the system. If they're, a top level admin or just a basic member or somewhere in between. What kind of rules they follow. You'll be able to set up different rules for different groups of people based on, what type of department they're in or what shift they're on, or, if they're full, part-time, or volunteer, in terms of what rules they follow in terms of, can they trade their shifts? Are they allowed to submit time off? Do I need to track work limits? Things like that. So they'll be there as well. Messaging is a big part of our system, of course, and we allow your members to basically set their own preferences in terms of their messaging options. And that starts with, of course, their mobile phone number and choosing their mobile phone provider of whatever service that they have, so text messages can go through. They can set up, what times of day they get those text messages, so it's not pinging overnight and waking them up or anything like that, so they can set that for themselves. Email is there as well, so you can set up your primary email and any other email accounts to get notified on as well. And then in the notifications section here with the checkboxes allows the member basically to choose what type of notifications they get and in what format. So they can choose, if I submit time off and Seth wants to know exactly when that time off has been approved or denied, when that happens, he can set that option to get pinged by email and text right away. Trades, signups, coverage alerts, which we'll talk about, form notifications, if you have notifications set up through forms. Here's that member expired option here with the different dates that might be tracked within the system, and they'll get pinged for that. There's also even an upcoming shift reminder, which is really handy for those that maybe not be working on a regular rotating shift pattern. Maybe it's a volunteer that only works so often. They can actually get reminders before their shift, letting them know, hey, don't forget you're working tomorrow. Admins will also have a different section here as well, where they'll be able to set up the notification options for themselves of those under their authority, so that when a member submits a new time off request, the admin can choose to get notified about that request right away or not. It's kind of your preference, and we do that on purpose because it usually falls one way or the other. They love to get all the notifications, or they just don't want to get their phone blowing up with all sorts of messages. So it's your choice. Down here in the next section is work qualifications. This is where we're talking about where is Seth allowed to work. So this is different from authority in the system. This is stating exactly what is he qualified to do and where is he allowed to work. You might have different schedules of different departments or different stations or different apparatus, and then in what capacity. Not everybody's the battalion chief. Only certain individuals can be battalion chiefs, right? And as they graduate up, it may be a difference between EMT and a paramedic, right? All EMTs, are basically can't be paramedics, but paramedics can be EMTs. So this is where you're separating that out, and it really saves you time as an admin, allowing you to basically dictate who's allowed to be where, so you're not confused later as when you're filling a shift list who are the actual qualified paramedics. You don't have to remember, the list is already preset for you. And that helps with coverage alerts too, right? If you need to put on an alert for lieutenant to cover a lieutenant spot, it's only going to go to the lieutenant people. So this list will, of course, expand and be flexible as you add new schedules and positions, because you can certainly call these schedules and positions, any label that you want, whatever you need it to be. And then from general information down here is basically your world. You can customize this and add and remove an unlimited amount of fields to store whatever you can think of. Everything from emergency contact info to your, breadth of certifications and what those are, and labels and different expiring dates. You can even add the actual file of a certification here. You can actually attach files or pictures or whatever it happens to be posted right on their profile, so you can reference the actual document if you need to, things like that. So you can you can even put like their uniform size on here, or training dates, or it's your world to come up with new sections and titles and fields as you wish. And there's date fields, there's number fields, there's attachment fields. There's choice fields, with drop downs and check boxes, and you basically get to organize it as you wish. And that's under the members tab, and you'll be able to configure that. It kind of works like a form. So you could set all that as needed, and then always save, of course, as you go through your different changes. Now, a big part of what happens in the member database is, of course, messaging. So you can utilize the phone and email to do that. And it's as simple as just checking the box of whoever you want to send a message to, or checking everybody and be able to send a message. And you compose an email, a text, or both, and send it out. And that's a very just open, flexible, custom message that you just make whenever you want. And it's a one-way message that gets blasted out to those folks whenever you need to. And of course, all that information is recorded, all system activities recorded, that you'll be able to refer back to later. You'll see on most screens here as we go through the system, the different ways you can organize the information. Don't be afraid to hover and click on things. You can sort on any column that you wish. You could certainly just put all your full-timers together if that's handy. And then there's the filter options over here too. What you're looking at on the big screen here is completely your choice. You can organize this basically to make it your own custom member report, in this case, as you wish. If you just want to look at just certification information or maybe emergency contact information, you can certainly just focus in on that particular section as you wish, and everything else kind of hides in the background, and that's unique to your login. It wouldn't change for anybody else. So you're not affecting anybody else's view of the system. It's unique for you. And then you can even click on edit if you need to maybe bring in some other details in other columns. You get to basically even be more specific about it and just choose whatever information you want and bring it to the forefront. You can print along the way. You'll see this very common here, or export the data as well. This will be really big, of course, in reporting and payroll and things. Okay, let's take a look at the that kind of covers the member information here. I'll take a quick glance of any questions that are out there. Okay, we're going to go take a look at scheduling now. So when we go over to the schedules tab here, you'll see some different options here. What you're looking here on the first half of the choices here are the different ways to view the schedule. You could view it as a whole and look at all the details. Members would focus on their My Schedule page to look at their own information. And then there's other details such as availability, if you need to see that as a whole when people submit their days that they're available to work or unavailable and so forth. You can look at that as a reference. Trade information, it just focuses on trades, of course. And then down here is all the admin functionality. We'll look at the details of that, of how you can edit any hour of any day, or if you need to do a global change over a range. That's of course a rotation, which I'm sure a lot of you have, like 24, 48s and so forth. And then of course you can remove things from the schedule over a range to make that easier and efficient for that. And then you'll be able to also manage all your change requests in more detail using a change request log here. But let's go look at the schedule views. That's what I'm sure you're here to see. So let's go take a look here. We're going to start right in here to our monthly calendar view. This is just one way to look at the system and the information therein. You can see this from like a monthly calendar on the wall kind of a situation here, where we're looking at 1 month. So this is July. You'll see the different apparatuses here that we have listed here, or stations, or whatever you happen to be calling them, and who's working on whatever day. And you can hover over these things to see more detail of exactly what capacity they're in and what the different hours might be. We have shift labels that are colorized here to help you quickly glance and see what day is which. You know, this is handy for as long as there's a pattern. And this one I think is just set up in 24/48, so you can see ABC shifts along the way. And as we kind of scroll down here, we see a little more color options here and things going on. Things such as trades, where you'll be able to see the details of any trade going on for the day. And there's even an indicator of a trade of the actual shift here. We can see the little arrows, and Brian is working for Sandra on that. We can see here for time off, which is in orange. Sandra is on personal time for the day there. As we go down to a little more information here, we can see some open shifts. Open is indicated by purple. So you control as an admin which shifts are open and which ones are not. So in this case, there's a special event happens to be on the 16th here. It looks like we're looking for a couple of spots here, and there's an open EMT over here. And what that does is basically allow your members to see those open shifts and sign up. So they're signing up using the purple option here. And we can see there's a captain spot here, and Terrence and Tim and Sandra have all signed up for a shift. And it's waiting for your admin approval as indicated by this little green A that's on there. So these are approved, right? No little A to approve them, but this one, we can actually click on that and say, oh, Terrence is looking to be the captain on engine 1 in a few days here, and then we can see the other people, and you can literally process it right from here if you wish. This is just one place of many that you can do this. If I approve this, then Terrence would be notified that they got the shift and they're going to be working that day, and then the other signups would automatically cancel, and they'd be notified that they didn't get the shift because that's already been filled. So you can approve or deny and add notes as well, you know, for other details. You could see an event going on here for today. And that's just in coordination with whatever might be happening that day. In this case, it's a parade on a Wednesday, which I guess seems a little unusual, but you know, it's an example of what could happen. You know, events can be placed on any day for any reason, such as staff meetings or end of the pay period, or don't forget to wash the truck, or you know, whatever it happens to be, other outside events. And then there's even a little yellow sticky note here on engine 1 that we can hover over here and see. Oh, engine 1 is covering the parade today. Okay, so there's a detail for engine 1 just for the 14th here that we can see what might be happening that day. So you can see the different options as I hover over engine 1 here. You can edit the schedule, you can add and edit a note, you can add a specific event. So, you know, hovering your mouse over the different areas will show you the different functions of what's available there. You can also see, you know, you might be curious about this little stop sign. What does that mean? Well, this is part of a function in the system where you can set your minimum staffing requirements. And these stop signs would come up letting you know when you happen to, you know, be under your minimums, you know, where we call violate the minimum. So you might have a minimum staffing here. We can actually click on that and see, oh, I'm supposed to have 4 people on for the day, for the whole day, but I only have 3. So you're short on engine 1 by 1 person, obviously, right? There's a spot empty and there's people signing up. So it looks like it's going to get filled, no problem. But this is just your warning here, letting you know at a glance when you're looking at the system that you're under those minimums and maybe you need to take care of that. You'll also notice the little blue envelope here that happens to be up at the top here. Now, this is indication of giving you the efficient method of getting out the message to your people that, hey, we need coverage. So that you see that there's an open EMT spot on this Medic 1. This is indicating that we're short. Now we got to get the message out. How do we get this filled? How do we let people know that I need an EMT on Saturday? Well, you would just send out what's called a coverage alert. And there's many ways to do that. You can see there's a coverage alert on there, and this blue envelope is basically the same thing. And what that does is basically allow you to click on that, and the system has everything in place that it needs to know by default. So in 10 seconds, you can go 1, 2, 3, send, and everybody gets it. Everybody that's qualified to work that spot that's not already working will be notified, hey, we need an EMT for the 17th. And if you want to take the shift, here's your opportunity. There'll be a link right in the preview or right in the email where they would just literally just click on that link. It takes them to their own calendar, and they'd click to sign up for the page or sign up for the shift. And that's their response to that coverage alert. And if they don't want to take it, they don't take it. They just ignore it. So this is your way of getting that out there. And like I said, it's already kind of predetermined what's needed. You just check the box of a shift that's open. You select who the recipients are, and by default, it's all the unscheduled members. And if you need to add a note of any kind, hey, this is for overtime or first come, first served or whatever, and you just type whatever, part of that email will have that additional information as the note there as well. There's also an option of staggered alerts. So if this is something, like an overtime rotation kind of a thing, like whose turn is it to get offered an overtime shift, you can certainly set it up to go in turn by a predetermined saved list of an order, say by seniority or how many hours they have, or who was the last person to get the overtime offered, and he drops to the bottom of the list, and those kinds of things. So you'll be able to preset that up and make sure that it goes in the right order and everybody gets their fair chance to pick up a shift. You can, again, organize the schedule any way that you want by looking at it. We haven't even made any changes yet. We're just viewing it. You can certainly, you don't have to look at it as a whole month. You can use the 4 calendars here to choose your own range, or by week, or even by day. If you just want to see the roster for the day, you could just look at it from a 1-day point of view, and you can basically see it's all the same information, just focused on one particular day's roster. The notes are there, who's got events or time off or trades, those are all here as well. So you can go by day, by week, so it's very customizable to decide what you want to look at, and even just the details therein. If you click on the edit and the filter options here, again, you get to turn on and off exactly what you want to see. If you want to turn some things on and off and just make it a little easier to look at, you can just simply do that and just turn on engine 1 and 2, and that's all I really care about seeing. You can do that. And again, that's just for your view only. And then if you set up, if it turns out to be something you want to reference again later for handy, for different scenarios, you can save those custom filters for yourself as well. So how do we make a change to a schedule? Let's say we know, or we want to look at, people signing up for this captain in a little more detail. You could certainly do that. We would just hover over engine 1 here, and you can edit the schedule. And what that does is bring us into basically the main workspace of the system, and that's under the schedules tab here. This is the hourly editor. There's a lot of detail going on this page, so don't be overwhelmed by it. It becomes secondhand once you get into it a little more, of course. Your learning curve will go very steep because you'll be working in this screen most of the time. And this is where you're just going to see one day's picture, right? One day, one 24-hour period. I have engine 1 from 7 to 7. I can see who's working each of the shifts in blue. I can see an open shift for a captain. I have the little selector buttons here. And as I select these buttons, you see how the screen refreshes? That's what drives the list below of what members are available to be in those shifts. And you can see, the list of captains, of course, would be a little shorter than the list of the rest, right? Firefighters, I'm sure there's a lot more options for firefighters of who's available there. And we can see it's sorted by how available they are, showing us their corresponding schedule. So, from Perry down, nobody's got anything going on. None of them are working. But if we go down to the bottom of the list, these people do have a little something more going on. They're not as available. They're already on the schedule. And if we go back to captain, then those signups float right to the top. They're literally the most available person because they're directly signing up for the shift. And here's where you can even review them as well and just, review it. And if you approve it from here, look what happens. Tim automatically drops into the spot. All the signups go away. Tim got notified he's working, and the other ones got notified they don't. Lots of different options on how to organize your schedules. It's all drag and drop. Your mouse works as your tool. Here is a function to basically take any shift that you want and make it longer or shorter as needed on either side, right? And you can even just pick up somebody and move them wherever you want them to go. And I can even bring in, say, another engine if I need to, move people between shifts. It's as simple as I'm just going to take Tim off the schedule, right? Just as simple as I put him on. I can submit time off on his behalf. I can delete it. And then maybe I take Brian and I move him up to the captain spot. And then maybe I come down here to the captain spot on engine 2, and then you decide, you know what, Tim, I'm going to put you on captain here. I can actually grab Tim's name here, and I can simply just drag him up and drop him in there. So it's really easy to manipulate the schedule and make it as you wish. And if you need to split shifts half and half, you can do that too. Tim's going to be there for the first half, and then Terrence is going to be here for the second half. And then you can go along and jump to any other day of the system that you want. So here's another date. I think this one had an opening on it. Yep, we had an open EMT spot here, and maybe you can take a look at that from here. The same symbols are here. You can send out a coverage alert. You can see your minimum staffing. You can even see here how it comes in red and shows you that you're short. Things like that. Again, you can manipulate this screen to make it look like whatever you want. There's all sorts of tools available down here, such as a calculator and all sorts of other information you can bring in to utilize as, I'd say, what we would call mini reporting options. So you can see at a glance, how many hours they already have in based on your time range, what their date of hire is, who the senior person is, any other details that you wish can be viewed right from here. So that we try to make this as a kind of a one-stop shop to make it where you can edit the schedule to make it look like whatever you want on any given day. So how does this look to your members? This, of course, is an admin screen where you're looking at, where, an admin's looking at it and making changes and such. Your members can go look at the big schedule just like anybody else can for the most part, but we really want them to focus on the My Schedule page. So members really, their training involves basically this: my info and my schedule, and that's it. They only need to go into their own information and then their own schedule information, and anything they need to do for themselves to interact with the schedule can be done from the My Schedule page. So if we go back to Seth, and I'll actually emulate Seth, I'll just pretend to be Seth. So this is what it looks like to Seth when they log in. You'll notice that there's no other schedule options here. All they can see is the main page and the My Schedule page. There's no hourly editor and admin functions there. And he can come in and see exactly what shifts he's working in blue along the way. And there's a legend here on the left with all the color codes of exactly what everything means. Trades are in yellow, events are in brown, and these options actually can be toggled on and off to make it a little easier and maybe declutter the screen if you need to kind of remove things out of your way. So you can certainly do that as necessary. And then when Seth he's curious for August, I wonder if there's any extra shifts I can pick up. He can literally just open up and turn on the open shifts, and he could come and see an open shift here saying, you know what, I could use a couple more hours here or whatever. And you can literally just sign up for the shift, and it goes to the admin for approval, and it shows the little A. On the other side of the coin, of course, is how do you take off shifts? That's as simple as just clicking on whatever day you need to have off, and you either request time off or you request a trade. Requesting time off is as simple as that. It's going to send the alert to the admin to approve that time off, and then they would come off the shift if it's been approved. Tracking the information as to what type of time off, and if there's accrual balances, it would of course track that as well. Trades are kind of all on the membership they take care of their own shifts. The rules have already been set in place in the system of who can do what. So the trade is basically on the members to look for somebody to cover their shift, either by method of a giveaway where they're just giving away their shift for a one-time deal, or it's a swap. I work for you, you work for me. And we're going to figure out what those dates are right now. If it's an IOU later situation, that's a giveaway. But swap would be if you need to swap with another person and they're going to just work out the dates for it right now. And Seth can simply just send this out to everybody right now, and it's going to go to the whole list of people that are qualified to swap with Seth, and Seth is basically going to sit back and wait for the offers to come back of what dates people are going to offer in return for his date on the 14th. And there'd be a list of people listed there, and he can, if maybe him and Joe already had a conversation, he could just send it to Joe alone. But if he sends it to everybody, or if he's looking for somebody's name and they're not there, there may be a rule in place of some kind that makes them ineligible to trade shifts, whether it be the permissions or the rules, or they're already working, or whatever it happens to be. You can add notes back and forth as well to keep track of details. So the system basically takes care of itself in that matter. You can certainly submit availability if you work that way instead of signing up directly for shifts. Here's where your members can go out and basically post their availability as needed. And they would just pick all the days that they're available to work just in case, right? And the times, and there are other types here where they may be able to indicate when they're unavailable to work or where they prefer to work. And it basically just labels all those days as a nice reference for your admins to show who is available on certain days. If they don't send out a coverage alert, maybe you just have already set your availability, and if somebody's needed on the 7th here, that they know to give you a call. Members can also sync their calendars to outside applications such as a Google Calendar, or iCal, or Outlook, or whatever it happens to be. And so if you have a family calendar or a personal calendar, you're able to take this information and sync it out so it feeds out to that information, and you can see it through other applications. One thing, so that's for your members. Everything a member would need to do it can be done right here within the My Schedule page. Let's go back to being an admin and looking at the schedule. Now, I mentioned that you can edit the schedule day by day, of course, but if you have repeats and rotations, such as they are here, that's all controlled through the repeats and rotations screen, where you can literally set up a repeating pattern of any kind to put them on a schedule for the next, say, 2 years. We go 2 years out. So you can see here for Seth, he's on a previous rotation. This one's a little old, but you can see he's on a 2-week alternating rotation here as a paramedic on Medic 1. And you can set people on multiple rotations if need be for different patterns. And basically, a pattern's a pattern. If it repeats, it can be done. We can build any repeating pattern in the system that you can think of. And if you don't see an option other than weekly or every other week or 24/48, if there's some other unique pattern that you need to build within the system, we can do that for you. As long as you just tell us what that pattern is, we can build it, call it what you will, and then you'll be able to use that repetition type at any time and put people on those patterns. And you just set specifically who they are, where they're working, in what capacity, and what the pattern is over whatever range out for 2 years. So this is the efficient way to get shifts on there really quickly. And then, of course, there's the opposite tool to take things off the schedule really quickly as well. All right, I want to mention a few other things in the system before we wrap it up here. Those are the main schedule options. Forms. I can't tell you how big and how happy people are to have a digital version of paper, right? Anything that can replace the piece of paper in the clipboard and you can get it off your desk. It's a form, right? You can create any form you wish for whatever you might need and build it within the system for your own needs and capture that information right on the system, and anybody can access it again from anywhere. They can be at home, they could be on their phone, they could be wherever, on a tablet, walking around the truck, doing inventory, whatever it happens to be. And all forms are completely customizable, and you can make them whatever you want, and it's all drag and drop. You can literally take different tools from the left here and just move things over to wherever you want them to be and just make any form your own. You can have attachment fields, anything you need, even signature boxes. If you need somebody to sign off on something, you can even have a signature there to capture a physical signature. There's all sorts of forms in here available. If you're just looking for ideas, we went out to all our customers and got all the best templates of forms pre-made and made them available to you and everybody for free. You can see here there's over 200 different templates and pre-made forms for you that give you an excellent starting point where you don't have to build it from scratch. If there's anything that you can imagine, it's in here, from timesheets to checklists to COVID screenings to incident logs. I mean, it's an amazing, impressive list of options that you can have available to you. And you just bring it into the fold here and save it as your own, and becomes your own active form. And every form is its own world. You can set the settings of exactly who can see the form and who can submit it and make changes and those kinds of things as well. And if you have forms on a file or a PDF or whatever, and you don't want to bother building it yourself, then you just send it to us. We'll build it for you. That's part of what you get for your tech support and training. We'll do the work. No issues there at all. We'll help you out with whatever you need. The system also is excellent for reporting. We're making changes all the time in terms of payroll and the evolution of payroll. Everybody's always concerned about, how do we get to the end and make payroll and we get everybody paid correctly? Well, we know the importance of that. So we've made great strides in our reporting areas here to allow you to set all those different payroll rules. If you have different pay periods, if you have different rules for different people get paid overtime differently, whatever it happens to be, shift differentials, day versus night, that sort of thing, is all available to you as part of the reporting features here. These are all examples of different ways to display the information, to basically spit it out of the system as needed. Everything from an individual member report, where a member can go for themselves and see exactly at a nice glance exactly when they're working. So Seth, of course, can just have a nice one-stop shop and see exactly, maybe for the pay period if it's set up in here, or the month or whatever, and see how many hours they're going to get, and anything else, if there's any trades, time off, that sort of thing. That's a nice little one-stop report for per person. Or you might have more of a general need to see everybody's summary report, which just rolls up all the numbers into one. Or more commonly would be a scheduled time report. This is basically a payroll report where it breaks it down over a range of time, exactly every shift, and exactly what they worked and what classification it might be and how many hours they got, and it will include overtime, and you can set that up as well. And you'll have all that information and that you can export and put into your spreadsheet or QuickBooks or Payroll or whatever you might have. The reports are completely customizable, is my point, is that you make the report display exactly what you need it to display. It'll do calculations for you and get it as close as you possibly can to the final payroll report, and be able to get it out of here. You'll be able to customize that as needed. One great part of the system, the best report of all, is of course the system log. It's the actual audit trail of everything that occurs in the system. All activity is recorded. Everything from people logging in to any change that's made. So you don't have to worry about making a mistake or deleting something or thinking you broke it or whatever. Everything is recorded. Every change, every slide, every add, delete, otherwise, all activity of signups and otherwise, it's all in here. You'll be able to trace back messages, notifications, any activity of any change made. It's traceable. It can't be changed, and it's saved forever. So it's your ultimate audit trail. And the big part of it is it never lies, right? It's always accurate. It's always going to be there. We love that. That's one of my favorite features, of course. Storage is another excellent place for you to go to basically have information and easily referenced and find for your members to find. Anything from policies to procedures to here you can organize them into folders, and it's basically just a library for your members to go and click and read. And it just makes those documents and attachments available to whoever might need to see them, and of course accessible from anywhere, of course. There is a discussions piece here if you want to use it as another communications tool where you can simply post different topics, and your members will be able to respond back and forth with their own posts. We have a really great expansive help section here. So if you're a self-starter and want to learn on your own, you can do exactly that. We have a giant library of help videos in here for every part of the system for almost any situation, and you can review these at any time. And you'll be able to watch these videos, and it'll walk you through step by step all the different examples of how to manage different parts of the system and different areas. And even our webinars are recorded to even do a deeper dive into different information. We do webinars once a month for our customers, covering all sorts of the different topics here, and we have them saved so you don't even have to attend the webinar. You can just watch it later. It's all recorded here for you to reference at any time. And then you'll notice our release notes in here, and of course there's us. There's the big part is if you want to skip all that noise and don't want to bother thinking about it for more than a minute or two, then you just pick up the phone and you call. Or if it's after hours, you can email us here as well. It's free, it's unlimited, take advantage. Why wouldn't you? Even through your custom demo free trial process. We're here to help you understand the system and get you through exactly your questions and how it can make made best for you. There's even a chat here. If you don't like to pick up the phone or email, you can just start talking to us directly. You just click on the chat bubble and just start typing away, and we're online and we can respond to you that way as well. Okay, that kind of covers a lot of the basics of the system here. Oh, I wanted to, I just saw a question here regarding the mobile side. That's right, I mentioned the mobile side. How do you get to that? Well, what's convenient here is actually you can flip between the mobile and the full site anytime you want. If you're on your phone, here's what it looks like. You can just go right to your mobile site, and this is the same system, just formatted in a different way. Now, of course, it would look probably more like this, on a smaller screen, right? And it's just gonna have a nice dashboard with the high level information of basically where you're working. And if I need to sign up for shifts, any time off, admins can go in and approve and deny requests right from the mobile site, which is cool. And then of course you just navigate through the hamburger there, the 3 lines, and you can navigate to any other part of the system, looking at your own schedule, sign up for shifts, see what's going on, daily summary, fill out a form, send out a message, look at your information. It's all there available to you through the mobile site as well. And then you can click on the full site link here and take you right back to it. Okay, again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to submit them through the questions panel there. I'm going to take a minute here to review those and see if there's anything of note that we can share with the group here. Oh, somebody's asking about time clock. We like that. There is a time clock functionality in the system. If that's something you need to have your members punch in and out to track their location and make sure that they're on time and those kinds of things, there is a time clock functionality within the system that can be set up and turned on within your setup area here. Under our modules, there's a time clock function there, and it does exactly that. It's free to trial. You basically would just basically assign what we call a kiosk, which is basically a machine, any PC or desktop or some iPads and so forth, where you can have your members walk up, click on a shortcut, sign in, and that's their clock in, and then they clock out, and it's all recorded. Those records would be able to be reviewed by you as the admin. There's even a time clock report that would be separate from the calendar report, and if that's how you want to pay your members based on their time clock punches, you can certainly do that. You can compare the records side by side to make sure that they were expected to be there, and if they clocked in or out, and if you need to make adjustments or if they forgot or whatever it happens to be, you can certainly turn that on and review those information, review those records and make changes as needed. So yeah, there's that. You'll notice the payroll information is here as well. That's where you can set up all those payroll items that I mentioned, including pay periods, advanced payroll calculations, timesheets, tracking, and so forth. You'll notice integrations here too, which might be of interest to you. I'll click on that so you can see some of the different companies that are out there that I'm sure you're familiar with that we currently integrate with, meaning that we save you that double entry. We integrate and feed our information from Aladtec automatically over to, say, emergency reporting or ESO or Firehouse, and it automatically feeds that information over on a regular road basis. I think even every 15 minutes, as information is updated here, it's automatically fed over to the other system, so it's automatically updated there as well, so you don't have to worry about filling out those items there. So if there's something here you're interested in, we certainly would be happy to talk to you about that in more detail here as well. Don't forget to look in the chat window as you're looking at maybe submitting a question over there. There's the chat window over there too, that has a list of, oh, not the chat window, handouts. There's handouts over there from a couple of customer profiles that might be similar to your own, and gives their brief overview and experience with our system, which might give you some perspective there, and maybe you even allow you to call them and see how they like it and so forth, and other PDFs in there too. So take advantage of those. Make sure you take a look at that and download those for reference for later as you wish. And if if all this sounds great and you want to move on to our free demo, there's a link in the chat. That's what I was looking at before. You certainly can do that. There's a link to sign up for a free demo, or you just give us a call. Just let us know, and somebody will get with you and start setting that up. Like I said, you can call or email us at any point for that as well. So we hope we got some good ideas in your head there for looking at the Aladtec system. We appreciate everybody's participation here today. Thank you for spending the time and looking at our system. We'd hope we get a chance to talk to you later. Thanks to everybody in the background here as well. Jesse and Nancy helping take care of questions and production here for our system. So if there's anything else you want to hear about, we'd be happy to go over that with you at any point. Here's some more information, and we'll leave that up for you to take note of. And thanks for your time. Have a great day and the rest of your week. Thanks.